Welcome back to the video of the designated drunk. I hope we got sound up there. Go, 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 go. The designated drunk. Oh, we're back. We're back on Visions from the Edge. We have everything French ticklers and famous guest celebrities here for you. In case you couldn't tell, that was a best of Visions from the Edge. It was all our best stuff. We're back to the designated drunk now. Ben has got his helmet on, his driving gloves. He's had almost an entire bottle of Jägermeister, and he doesn't know what he's doing. Folks, let this be a lesson to you. Do not drink and play video games. Okay. I have with me Lisa Snyder, who has produced a film which is coming up, one of our video submissions tonight. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
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 I noticed you're reading On the Edge. That is what it's called, On the Edge magazine. What do you think?
Well, everybody's reading On the Edge magazine, so
yes.
What else can I think, really?
Exactly. Everybody is reading On the Edge magazine, because I'm going to read a little excerpt from it. For anyone wanting to catch the upcoming show, I recently talked with an associate in Florida who had a chance to catch them in April. We're talking about, well, you'll see. She said, the show was well over 2 hours of pure butthole satisfaction. Usually, this is the column about the butthole surfers.
Like Carlos.
Yes, tell us about Carlos Holman. Tell me about the magazine. Robin, you're the publisher. Tell me about On the Edge.
No, I'm the publisher.
It says that. It does say that.
Yes, it does.
Okay. On the Edge magazine, Carlos is the editor. For anyone wanting to watch the upcoming show, she said, I asked, yeah, we won't say any more of that.
What?
We're getting low on time, I understand. Lisa, the next thing coming up is a video submission from you, and it is a film you recently produced, correct?
That is correct.
Tell me about it.
Well, I guess you just sort of have to watch it and see.
I called it Dancing with Slides. What do you think of that?
Well, it's kind of a nice sequel to Dances with Wolves. I think it works real well.
I'm being told to stretch it. So she said the show was well over 2 hours of pure butthole satisfaction.
Yeah, man.
I asked her about any technical problems, and she said everything went perfectly. On the Edge magazine, everybody is reading it. I mean, everybody is reading it. A carload of celebrities right here is reading it. Lisa, this film, I watched it. We were so impressed, we decided to put it on this show because we only put the best on this show.
Yeah, I am quite proud to be here. I'm really honored that you're putting it on this show.
Yes. Okay. They're screaming in the booth. Don't ignore them. Ignore them. Tell me how you made this, because it's a multimedia experience. Correct?
Well, I started with slides, dances with slides. Mm-hmm. Slides were a really important part of this video. I also used a video camera. That was really that was really helpful.
Keep doing that.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
And then I just started talking until my friends couldn't stand it anymore, and that was it.
It has a monologue in it where you go on and on. It's a little bit like a penny cartoon that lasts 10 minutes.
Yeah. Actually, it's 12 minutes.
It's 12 minutes long.
Longer than you thought,
yeah.
Time flies.
Yes. We really enjoyed it. We're going now. 1, 0, here it is!
Teenager, I was really into gymnastics. It was my favorite thing. And during my first meet, the coach said to me, now whatever you do when you're on the beam, don't touch the ground. You'll lose all these points. I'm like, okay, don't touch the ground. And I'm jumping around up there. I'm having such a good time. And of course, I slip and fall. But luckily, I caught the beam with my arm and I'm hanging underneath it. And sort of like a monkey, I started crawling underneath with my toes and fingers to the other end of the beam to get up while the judges are rolling on the sidelines in hysterics. So what I love the most about gymnastics is I could jump up so high in the air. I could get all this spring and hang out up there. But I put all this effort into getting up, and I never really thought much about how I was going to get down. So my friends from gymnastics, we all used to love to go out dancing together in downtown and go to the clubs in Boston. And I met this guy named Tony. He wore gold chains. We did disco contests. So one day I got this pair of Varney glasses in the mail. I didn't know where they came from. And I guess me and Tony had won 3rd place in a disco contest. And I was kind of glad we won 3rd place and not 1st place, because if we won 1st place, I would have had to spend the weekend with him in a hotel in New York City. So I gave the glasses away.
Anyway, so I used to wear these really high heels in those days, and I'd be strutting around town in these spikes, and I swear to God, I dislodged the bricks behind me when I ran down the street. It was dangerous to be walking in back of me then. So anyway, we used to go to the tackiest buildings in Boston, and there was this one building called The Palace. It had a room for every season. We were in the winter room. There's all this plastic snow coming down off the ceiling, and some of it got in my eye, and it got really badly infected. So I didn't go back to the discos for a while.
Anyway, so about this time I met this woman named Lana. She was a dancer, and she wanted me to be in her cabaret act. She's doing it at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. It was based on the movie Dirty Dancing, and I was going to be the lead dancing woman opposite this really cute guy who Lana happened to have a mad crush on at the time. So I was a little shy about doing this kind of dancing. It was a little kind of risque for my style. I was a little nervous. But then I started to practice and got really into it, you know, and Lana got really jealous. She dropped me from the act. So then one of my gymnastics friends, she took me to Clay's dance class, and I couldn't believe it. He was fabulous. He was the best dancer I'd ever seen anywhere, live on TV, the movies. It was great. So I'm just going crazy during class, having so much fun, and I was getting a little enthusiastic, and my feet flipped out from under me, and I fell right on my butt. I was totally embarrassed. And afterwards, Clay came up to me, and he's like, hey, you want to be in my dance company? I'm like, what? You're not talking to me. Anyway, Clay was the coolest person I was friends with. I mean, we used to be walking around town, and he'd be smoking the finest Caribbean herb, you know, broad daylight in the streets. You know, if it was me, I would have been in jail, put in jail. Anyway, so he'd saunter into class Sunday mornings and look at us all. We were all tired and complaining, all hungover. Oh, I can't do this, I can't do this. And he'd be like, you guys do not know what partying is. I still have the alcohol running through my veins. So, anyway, we were doing this piece that Clay described as a modern ballet without a plot. And it was really tough because he made these really funky cutout t-shirts for us to wear, and I could never figure out where the arms and head was supposed to go through, and I'd be hopping off onto the stage half dressed. Well, actually, the most difficult thing about the piece, besides getting into the costumes, was I had to do this part all by myself, and I used to have to do all this really funky breakdancing stuff into these wild poses, and I could never figure out, why did Clay want me to do this? I mean, I was by far the least funky person in that group.
Anyway, I was also the smallest, but I somehow had really big feet or something and made the most noise. And so Clay got really disgusted with me stomping around, and one night he made me do leaps over and over and over again until I did not make any more noise.
So we also did this really serious, political, intense piece, and we used to have to rock back and forth for hours, holding burning candles to music that had no beat. And we wore these really heavy white skirts that, you know, they didn't quite fit, and when I jumped up, the skirt jumped down. Embarrassing. And afterwards, my friends came up to me, and they're like, oh, Lisa, that was the most serious, intense piece I've ever seen you do. It was fantastic. I'd be like, oh my God, you know, my fingers are burning up, and, you know, my eyes are tearing out from the incense. I just wanted to drop the candles, wipe my forehead, and scream.